guys, it's Amy, Furniture and Design Lead at the Queen City Home Store. Have I got some exciting news for you? Today through April 14th, we're offering 0% financing for 36 months on all furniture and mattress purchases of $8.99 and above. Stop by a Queen City Home Store location to check out our new living, dining, and bedroom collections. So we'll see you there at the Queen City Home Store, where you're always home.
John DeLand here for Crowntown Cannabis. We at Crowntown Cannabis care about you and your health. All of our products, from edibles to topical creams, are all third-party tested for purity and quality. 4 locations, open 7 days a week to help you with any concerns you may have. Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sundays, 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. You can call us at 704-412-7121 or online at crowntowncannabis.com.
Let's face it, we do not like bugs, and especially spiders and ants. Unwanted pests in the home are not only creepy, they can also spread sickness and cause significant damage to the structural integrity of our homes. Kilo Exterminating has been taking care of pest control problems in the Charlotte area for over 70 years with award-winning customer service. Moisture readings are standard with all crawl space inspection. Call Kilo Exterminating at the first sign of infestation, 704-333-9855, or online at kilo.biz. Again, that's 704-333-9855.
Hi, I'm Sam Otero of AteroMedia.com. Someone asked me once what I love the most about my 30-year-long career as a media producer and educator, and I have to say the fact that not only do I get to create for a living every day, but then I get to teach and help others to use the content and gear systems that I've built for them themselves. Do you need professional live event video production or streaming services? You're in great hands with our family business. All 5-star Google reviews. That's ETTARO Media.com.
Have a comment or question for the show? Call us 704-227-8986. That's 704-227-8986. Now, back to the show.
I don't know where that came from, but wherever it came from, go back. Go back where you came from. Won't like that. Anyway, that's just me. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. I was talking about put tools in schools, before the break there. My guests have showed up, and I'll introduce them here in a second. I want to finish by, saying we've got an image to rebuild, and it's an image that kids love, and it's been taken away from them. And that's working with their hands and their mind and their innate creativity that we're all born with. And, when you see kids and you get to talk to them and they see tools and they get to hold them and feel the freedom of building things, the way it personally for me, being a builder my whole life, and I'm talking my whole life, because I played with tools as a kid, from Tootsie Toys, Legos, Lincoln Logs, you name it. I played with it as a kid. I built slot cars. I built fast slot cars. I won slot cars with them. And I built go-karts. I built mini bikes. I built tree houses. I built dog houses. I built houses. I've remodeled kitchens. There's a freedom behind that ability that you can't experience anywhere else. And I know because I've lived it and I've watched others live it and live a happy, productive, very successful life and retirement on working with your hands and your mind. But we don't push that. We don't even give it to kids in the big city. Now, granted, outside of the city and rural areas, it is more vast, more popular, because they're more survival oriented in the country areas, the rural areas. So I want to take this time to say this year and next year, we're not going to stop because we want to see kids happy, and there's a lot of happy in the trades, a lot. And speaking of the trades, these guys that are guests here, they couldn't do what they do without people working with their hands and their minds and creating things. And you have to understand, and these kids don't. That's the sad part. Now, some parents out there say, well, my kids, do you really know what the kids do? Do you really know what your kids are capable of or not capable of or not knowledgeable about? And, but I guarantee you they know about sports. They know about sports because that's what we all do. Some people don't know anything but sports is out there. And I'm not saying sports is a bad thing. It's not at all. It's great in so many areas, but it's not everything. And plus, you ain't going to last past 30. Then what happens after you're 30? Because these kids, I ask them all the time, what you going to do? And I'm going to be an athlete. I'm going to be in the NFL. And then what? They look at you and say, what do you mean? Then what? Because you're not going to make it past 30. What so-and-so did. See what our media does to kids? Gives them this false dream. Now, I'm not saying, now there's some great athletes out there. Don't misunderstand me. And they'll go far, but they won't go forever. And that's the point. Then what? There's a tremendous opportunity for our youth to get involved working with their hands and their mind. We need to make them aware of it. They don't have to go there. They can go to college, be whatever they want to be. But at least we should show them and put it on the menu. And it's not there. And I know it because I'm talking to the kids right in front of me. 6th graders, 7th graders, 8th graders, 9th graders, 10th graders, 11th graders, and seniors. Talk to them all this week. Whoopee. But they don't lie, and they'll talk to you. And they tell you the facts. And believe me, we're doing a lousy job in this industry, reaching and engaging our students and letting them know of the possibilities and pathways. And there you go. All right, let's move on. Enough preaching from Mr. Terry today, although I'm probably not through. I got Tony Vanderpool. Did I say that right, Tony?
That's correct.
And Scott Liseno.
Yes, sir. Liseno.
Liseno.
Yes, sir.
Liseno. All right, now you're going to talk about 6 inches from the mic. If you, Scott, grab yours, pull it your way. And, yeah, you wear headsets. And let me explain the headsets. Go ahead and put it on your ear. You'll see. So you can hear me better now, more intimately. Everything on air comes to the headset. That's it. No, I don't give people lessons before they get here, as you see. but it doesn't take long to learn. And but if you want to call and ask questions about garages, because we're going to find out what they do anyway. I don't know if they do everything, whatever everything is in a garage, because garages have blowed up from when I grew up in the South, because we didn't even have the darn things. In the early days of Charlotte, North Carolina, there were a few garages, relatively speaking. Now I'm guessing here. You're not from Charlotte.
I am not.
You're not from Charlotte.
No, sir.
See, I knew they were not homies. Well, see, I go 73 years back in Charlotte. Wow. And I've seen what would you guess the first subdivision of Charlotte to be?
Gosh, I have no idea.
You're in it.
Oh, okay.
Dilworth. Dilworth was one of the very first subdivisions of Charlotte, and you see how close it is to uptown. Yeah. And then you had 4th Ward, obviously downtown, obviously a section of Charlotte. But anyway, and you have garages in Dilworth. They're old garages, and typically they were wood and worthless years later. They were actually outdoor sheds, but now garages have become very, very part of our culture, wouldn't you say?
They've blown up. Yep.
All right. Where are you from, Tony?
Originally grew up in Atlanta, Georgia.
Well, you're a Southern boy.
I'm a Southern boy, born in Texas, grew up in Atlanta and South Carolina, Hilton Head area, and then moved up here about 15 years ago.
Gotcha. What brought you to Charlotte?
Family, and a woman.
Yeah,
So,
women do that a lot. I hear that a lot. What brought you here? A girl?
my wife brought me here, but I have family here as well, and I've got family in Asheville, so it seemed like a good central location with where family was in Hilton Head.
All right. Background. Curious. I go through this, y'all.
Sure.
Y'all just got to bear with me. I got to figure out who y'all are.
Family,
I don't know y'all.
family background, all that, or
Well,
just
no,
work background?
Just work predominantly.
All right.
Well, all right. I'll start out this way. You're raised in Atlanta. Got any siblings?
I do. So I am an adopted triplet. So when I was, I have two older sisters, and back in 1970, my family wanted to adopt a boy and found out that a set of triplet boys were going to be born and to be up for adoption. And we were fortunate enough to be adopted all at the same time by the
That's
same
awesome.
family. It's a great story.
So you got two brothers
I
close
do.
together, and y'all were. That's awesome.
So, and then I college really wasn't for me. I'm not going to lie. I'm more of a hands-on guy. So
now we're getting
there
to
we
the
go.
core really
So
early. It starts early, don't it?
it does. It starts early. And
I ain't going to school.
same with my brother Mike. My brother Mike has owned a construction company in Hilton Head for about 30 years now, and he did not have a college degree, and he has made a very successful business out of his construction company.
I'm going to embark upon something you just said. Somebody was talking yesterday, and this hits home for me because I'm sick and tired of hearing it. He says, my grandfather was an uneducated man. I said, stop. How do you figure? Well, he didn't go to I said, you're talking to formal education, right? But now you're going to tell me the rest of the story. Tell me about your grandfather. And he did, and how successful he was. And I said, and now you're going to brand him an uneducated man. That's total BS. He's as smart as any college educated human there is walking on the planet. But we don't view it that way, do we?
Right.
We call them uneducated. If you're a contractor and you're successful, you're brilliant because of what you do. It encompasses so many things that most people can't do. Am I right or wrong?
No, you're correct. Absolutely.
And I'm not bragging here, but as superintendent of public schools, and this has only given me more knowledge and more faith in my knowledge, walked up to me after a meeting one night. He said, why aren't you teaching? I laughed. I said, I hadn't been to college. I'm not educated in that way. He says, son, you have a PhD and you need to be teaching. And that got me to thinking. And it got me to take more pride in our profession as construction people. And this is what's missing in the country. And now you guys that are successful contractors need to step up. I know you don't have to. I know you don't really want to because it isn't easy. Trust me, it ain't easy. Sometimes it's hard mentally, emotionally. But we're going to take a break. Come back and listen to the rest of your story.
Sounds good.
But am I right or wrong on the education?
Yes, sir. 100%.
Absolutely right.
So to think your child needs an education, what the heck is an education? We've really screwed that word up in our culture because it's much more than academics, much more than academics. And we need to look at it that way or start because the great marketing machine around colleges and higher education have done a fine job. But it ain't true. We'll be back. More about your house.
Our number 2, Scott Liseno and Troy Vanderoll of Garage Living of Charlotte, talking life, their story, as well as garages and what you need to know. About Your House is brought to you by PutToolsInSchools.org, connecting students to tools of the trades and raising awareness of the many career pathways. About Your House is also brought to you in part by Queen City Home Store, formerly known as Queen City Audio, Video, and Appliances. Same great store, different name. Queen City Home Store is a family-owned store serving the Carolinas for over 70 years. They're the largest independent appliance retailer in the Carolinas, constantly growing and taking pride in the experience they offer customers with a knowledgeable sales staff, product selection, and lowest price guarantee. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some time with us. And now, here's your host, Ray Terry.
All right, welcome back. Hour number 2. Let's talk Garage Living of Charlotte. We're going to talk that, but I'm talking to Tony Vanderoll. I screwed up. Yep, I did it again, but I spelled it wrong. I put Troy Vanderhoot or something. I don't know. Vanderoll. I just printed the P wrong, and it was an R. Anyway, I screwed up. It's Tony Vanderoll with Garage Living of Charlotte. So there you go, and Scott Liseno as well, but we screwed up Tony's name. But now you know Tony Vanderoll's in the house. Okay, now. You were talking about what put you.
How I got here.
Yeah, how you got, and I interrupted you.
No, you're good. You're good. So moved here about 15 years ago, and I got into the custom audio video industry and did sales. Was a technician for a while and did sales for about 10 years with a local company. And
can I ask who?
It was KS Audio Video out of Cornelius, North Carolina.
I remember. That's why I was curious.
Yep. And so I was with them a number of years, and one of my things that I did with them was build relationships with builders to work on turnkey projects and things like that for the audio video. In doing that, and in going to a weekly networking meeting that I'm still in to this day, B&I have been in there for about 10 years, going on 10 years.
Several of those meetings.
Scott's other company, Omnia Construction, was in that group and built a relationship with them to where when they had a project, a renovation of a house or whatnot, I did all their custom audio video for them. And over the years, I saw what Scott did with Omnia and how he built that up. And last year,
Omnia.
Yes, sir.
Is it a construction company?
Yes, remodeling renovations. Yep.
Okay, remodeler. Okay, cool.
And
Now you're getting me excited.
oh yeah, oh yeah. So builders were a huge part of when I did audio video, and I really enjoyed working with them. So I built a great relationship with Scott, Kara, Dave, Tyler, all the people over there at Omnia, Matt. And in doing so, last year I was looking, no one really knew, but I was looking to kind of get out of the custom audio video. As much as I loved it, it's kind of a stressful job. And I was looking to kind of get away from that. And
I'm sorry, got it. What made it so stressful?
I love building customer rapport and the relationships with the customer, but in the world of custom audio video, technology isn't like it was back in the day. Instead of it changing every 5-10 years, it changes yearly now. And
I thought it changed every 6 weeks.
it could be every 6 weeks now.
I mean, but that's why I asked the question, because I wanted to delve a little bit in that statement. What caused you so much stress?
Well, it's when you have a customer and that, you'd have an automated house and you've got a lot of control going on in the house. There can be a lot of issues and there can be a lot of rollbacks and service
I know,
things like
I understand.
And that gets very stressful. There's no question. And as much as I loved it,
and it has a lot to do with OP too, right?
It does.
Other people.
It does. There's
the
there's
OP
no question.
factor, and when you get into a massive OP problem, it's stressful. That to me in business, and I'm glad y'all are here where we can talk about this as business people. That's number one problem. The OP factor.
Right.
Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
The OP factor. And then people say, what do you mean? Other people.
That's true. And so in doing that last year when I was in a BNI meeting, Omnia had mentioned that Scott had, started up Garage Living of Charlotte and was looking for somebody to handle the sales. And I immediately looked over at Kara and said, tell Scott to call me. If there was one person, and I've said this over and over, and I'll always say this, if there was one person that I built a relationship with where I saw what they did with their company and said I would work for that person in a heartbeat, it was Scott because of what I saw him do with Omnia. And so I came on board in October, and I'm not going to lie, it has been an awesome, awesome fit. It has changed everything for me.
Great. How old are you now?
I just turned 55 about a month ago.
Gotcha.
Double nickels.
And the reason everybody gets on me for asking age, but I don't care, because it tells me, it tells you, the listener, of the opportunities out there in this construction industry, and you can switch gears.
Sure.
You can change directions. It's never too old.
No, it's true. I mean, I will say this: when I was in the custom audio video industry, I thought that was my career for life. That was it. I was happy with it for a while, but then I got burned out. And when I had this opportunity come up, I knew with custom audio video over the past couple of years what garages were doing. I saw it when I went to homes. I saw it with my builders building the homes. And so I knew there was a transformation happening where garages were going to be a big industry. The barn dominiums that are being built.
Oh, absolutely. Now. Sure.
And so it just seemed like a no-brainer for me that, hey, this is a great switch. Even though I wasn't looking for a career switch, it was exactly what I thought I wanted to do until my retirement. So, and it is. It's been a great move for me.
Oh, so you're looking to retire?
Eventually. One day.
See, that to me is one of the man-made constructs that I don't agree with. I don't think we should ever retire.
It doesn't mean I won't be working and doing something.
I call it a transition.
That's better.
Maturing in a different way, professionally maturing.
Sure.
No, seriously, it's a transition, because if you retire, you get bored.
You do.
Yeah.
And when you don't use it, you lose it, and then you die.
That's right.
Literally.
That's true. That's true.
And, therefore you need to stay mentally engaged, physically engaged, and active in life. And if you don't, you're going to die.
Yep.
I'm speaking from experience, and I look around me every day and say, oh, there it is again.
Mm-hmm. Keeps happening.
Yeah, damn. They're going away.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we will, and we are. Had a conversation about life yesterday with my son. I said, I'm sorry to tell you, but you're at a point in life where because his stepfather's in a bad way. And I said, I'm so sorry, but this is called life.
Yeah.
You know, and that's just what we do. And we talk about here on the show, aging in place. Can you die in your house? Well, you know, these are thoughts you need to think about. And we're going to hit on that a little bit in the garage arena, because garages are an entryway into your house. And there's so much that can be done with them. And we're going to talk about that. But I'm going to go, okay, so now you're how many kids you got?
I have one son. He lives down in Florida. He is turning 28 next week.
Cool. What's he doing, if I might ask?
So he works at Las Spadas down in Fort Lauderdale at the beach, which is a famous sub sandwich location. He's
Cool.
been there for about 12 years. He's a manager there. He loves it.
Cool.
He absolutely loves it there.
Awesome.
So he's a beach boy.
There you go. Great place to be a beach boy.
He loves it down there.
I had a long conversation about that area with a friend of mine yesterday. Back in the 80s, I lived in Boca.
I used to live in Boca.
You know,
Yep.
I lived in Boca for about 8 months and said, no, I'm out of here.
I'm not a South Florida person.
No, I'm not either. No, I said, when I came back to Charlotte, it was a great experience. I wouldn't take anything for that 8 months, just having that experience of South Florida. But no, thank you. Nope. I want to feel the leaves crunch in October.
I agree.
You know, I want to be able to rake my yard. You know, they don't have yards raking down there. And it's too pretty. All right. So you're stable at Garage Living of Charlotte. Now I'm gonna go to the you own it.
Yes,
correct?
sir.
You're the owner of Garage Living of Charlotte, but you're a remodeling guy.
I am.
Where are you from?
I grew up in a very small town in upstate New York.
What would that be?
It's called Clyde. It's between Rochester and Syracuse.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you were born and raised
Born and
up
raised
there.
up there. I went to school up there and left New York right out of college.
What'd you go to college for?
Went to school for accounting. So I was an accounting major and a Spanish minor.
And what'd you do with it?
I got into construction.
What? Right out of high school?
No,
I mean,
no,
right out of college.
No,
I'm sorry.
not right out of college.
You played corporate America some, didn't you?
Very little. I managed a restaurant for about a year and a half in Roanoke, Virginia.
Okay.
And then I moved to Dallas, Texas with the lady who's my wife.
Cool.
And that's where I started my construction management career, working for a home builder in Dallas.
So you got in as a manager, construction manager for a
production builder.
Exactly.
Yes, sir. Yep.
And then what?
There was a lot of learn on the job in that scenario.
That was the education. That
That's
was
right.
the College of Construction, right?
That's right.
Because I went there myself, and it was a great one. And I wouldn't
It's a
take
great one.
anything for it.
Yeah.
Because when you're in that position, you can go out and play with concrete. You can play with the framing. You can play with anything you want to play with.
And you get to talk to everybody who's doing it and see it and learn what's right. learn
Even
what's
the
wrong.
good and exactly.
Yep.
The good and the bad.
Yep.
What an education.
That was great.
Yep. And then after that,
So I was in Dallas for about 10
almost,
years.
I can tell you what happened, but keep talking.
Yeah, I was in
It's a
I was
common
I was
pathway.
in Dallas for about 10 years. And we had a couple of kids at the time, and families were still back in the East Coast and wanted to get back closer to them. And 2007 or so, we started seeing a downturn in housing. We were actually developing our own properties in Dallas, and we were told by a corporate office in Houston, stop developing these properties. Okay, what's going on? They didn't share a lot of information, but the handwriting was on the wall. And so I started looking around for opportunities back on the East Coast, and was fortunate enough to be hired as a project manager for a commercial general contractor in Rockville, Maryland. And I thought at the time, well, construction's construction. Well, I was a residential guy, and walking into a project management role in a commercial construction company.
Another big education.
Another big education. Yes, sir. So I struggled through that for about 13 months. And I tell people I was as nervous on the last day as I was on the first day. It just couldn't, that was not the right role for me. I knew right away I was a home builder, residential guy, and that's where I needed to be.
Your story is really neat. Really good story, because see, you went into construction as a project manager for a residential spec builder.
Yep.
And you'd worked in home farms.
Yeah, a little bit.
Right?
A little bit.
Okay. And then you go into a commercial arena. Wow. But you didn't like that.
I
did
didn't
you?
like it. I didn't feel like I was actually building anything. It was a desk job for the most part. the superintendent probably would have been a better role for me in that situation. But I learned a lot, right? Learned about contracts and purchasing and all the things that it takes to actually run a business, which I was
Infrastructure
not
of the
learning
business.
as a project manager in construction, residential construction. I learned that on the commercial side.
Right. And then what?
Then I couldn't figure
'Cause you
out
got
how I
tired
was
of
going to
it or
get out
something,
of
yeah.
Maryland, and which I no offense to Marylanders, but it was not a good place for
Can I
me.
ask you how old were you at the time, roughly?
I was let's see,
I don't mean to bore you with the.
2009. I was 35.
I was going to say, see, my guess was you were pushing 40.
Yep,
Okay,
35.
keep talking. Right on track.
So long story short, my father-in-law owned a house in southwestern Virginia. My mother-in-law lived in Dallas, Texas, and were intending to move to Southwest Virginia to retire someday. And it was about the time he wanted to start renovating that house. It was an 1840s brick farmhouse,
Oh, money pit.
and they wanted to renovate it and put an addition on it. And living in Texas, they didn't feel comfortable with any of the local contractors they had interviewed. And I volunteered for it through my wife's urging, and we made a deal, got us out of Maryland. And that's when I started the business that is now Omnia Construction.
And that was your first remodel.
That was
An
my first big
18
job.
what?
1840s.
1840s. Early
sir.
1800 house.
Another education.
Yeah. Wow. But your passion came forth.
Yeah.
Did it not?
It was great. I loved it.
Yeah, that's a totally, look at the graduation. Look at the steps you took. Those are incredible and so beneficial in you learning.
Yeah.
Because I started in new construction, multifamily, apartment buildings.
Yeah.
Okay, wood. It wasn't commercial. It was mostly residential construction. And then I left that as a superintendent. But I didn't want to be in residential anymore because I wanted to remodel. And it just happened. And then there you go.
There you go.
Remodeling is totally different. Improving, changing is a different can of worms around construction. And that, to me, it's the artistic side. Wouldn't you agree with that?
I would say it's the
Most
hardest.
creativity.
Yes, certainly. You got you got to contend with what you have and figure out how you're going to do it.
And the challenges are much greater,
Right.
Aren't they? I love it. Remodeling. We'll talk more about remodeling too a little further in the show. NARI meetings coming up. We're going to talk about that. 704-227-8986. If you may have a question, we're going to get into garages here because I went to the website. Nice garages. Nice cars too.
Yeah.
I don't know where they made them, but they like their cars. Anyway, we'll talk. You're listening, not you're talking to. Yeah, you're talking to about your house in your mind. So pick up the phone if you have any questions. We're here, 704-227-8986, Fox Sports Charlotte. We'll be right back.
More about the show? Go to our Facebook page, About Your House Radio. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Mike Libretto here, owner of Libretto's Pizzeria and Spinello's Pizza. I opened my first pizzeria in New York City in 2004. Not long after that, I took my passion to Charlotte, North Carolina, serving up a taste of New York City with great pizzas and authentic Italian cuisine. Come in, relax, and enjoy Libretto's Pizzeria, located off Johnson Road in the Ballantyne area. Libretto's is also home of the famous Spinello's Pizza, a 10-inch infused frozen pizza, offered in both pepperoni and plain cheese. Visit SpinellosPizza.com for more information, to find a retailer near you, or just to order for pickup at the restaurant. Libretto's Pizzeria is open 7 days a week, a great place to relax, dine in, take out, delivery, or for catering. Visit us online at Libretto'sPizzeria.com. Call us at 704-714-1442 for the best in New York pizza and Italian cuisine. That's Libretto's Pizzeria. Stop in and become part of the family.
Go outside and take a look at your home. Are the gutters doing their job? The number one enemy to your home is water. Most homes are built with small, inadequate gutters and small downspouts. ABS Insulating has a division of the company that does nothing but gutter services. All gutter services: cleaning, maintaining, repair, new downspouts, replacement, and new gutters with many types available. They're a leader when it comes to gutter protection. Call ABS Insulating today, 704-821-4343 or absinsulating.com.
There's big news in the Carolinas. Queen City Audio, Video, and Appliances is now Queen City Home Store. For over 70 years, we've been your trusted retailer for appliances, electronics, and more. Now, we're taking it to the next level with a new name, a fresh look, and more ways to serve you, offering the same outstanding service you've always counted on, while bringing you everything you need for your home. Queen City Home Store. Same great service, more possibilities. Visit us at queencityonline.com.
Let's face it, we do not like bugs and especially spiders and ants. Unwanted pests in the home are not only creepy, they can also spread sickness and cause significant damage to the structural integrity of our homes. Kilo Exterminating has been taking care of pest control problems in the Charlotte area for over 70 years with award-winning customer service. Moisture readings are standard with all crawl space inspection. Call Kilo Exterminating at the first sign of infestation, 704-333-9855, or online at kilo.biz. Again, that's 704-333-9855.
Have a comment or question for the show? Call us 704-227-8986. That's 704-227-8986. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back. Talking to Scott Liseno, the owner of Garage Living of Charlotte. And are you still remodeling?
Yes, sir.
Where are you remodeling it?
Primarily, we work in Lake Norman, so Cornelius, Davidson, Huntersville, Mooresville.
Brawley School Road area.
Yes, sir.
You
Down
love
point.
it, don't you?
I love it.
If you're up there, you got to love that area.
Yes, sir.
You can have it.
I'll take it.
I don't want to go up there. People tell me the point and the peninsula,
Yep,
or is it the point?
The point is off Raleigh.
Yeah, the point. The peninsula is down in off Chautauqua.
Yes,
Correct.
Yeah, I can get them mixed up sometimes. But the point, they say, I'm at the point. I said, oh, no, you're not. I got to drive up there. But no, that's a great area to work in. I can remember that area when there was nothing up there. Nothing but a bunch of old cabins and mobile homes as river cabins. And some of them were just not river cabins. They had converted to that because back one day when I was a kid, my father took us up to that area before they flooded it, made it Lake Norman. And I got to see that as a kid.
Wow.
And he said, where we're standing, son's going to be 20 feet underwater.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So we saw that change growing up.
Amazing.
But, all right, so what brought you to Charlotte, though?
Once we...
So you got to Southern Virginia,
I
remodeled a 1840s house,
Yep.
which was a great education in itself. Had
Yes,
to
sir.
be.
It was great. Yep. Yeah, it was. We remodeled it and we added on about 3,500 feet. So it was some new and some old.
So what did you? So you kept some of the old. You didn't redo the whole house.
Yes, correct.
I got you.
All the old walnut trim, walnut doors, walnut floors.
Wow.
Beautiful.
I can imagine. Old two-story brick.
Two-story brick interior walls, 3-width brick walls. Yep.
Wow, that's awesome. And then
finished that, and not being from Southwest Virginia, didn't feel like that was a place I could really stay, and wasn't necessarily right for the kids. And so Charlotte had really always been on the radar. And I was sitting with my wife one afternoon talking about what are we going to do, and I'd always wanted to have my own business, and I thought, if not now, then when? And I never wanted to say, I wish I would have tried. And so we decided we were going to come to Charlotte and give it a go.
There you go. And it worked.
It worked.
Did-
It took a
did
long
you-
time.
Did you? Well, what's a long time?
Well, it's taken 15 years so far.
Yeah, but you're fine, aren't you?
I'm fine. Yes,
You
sir.
got work, don't you?
I do.
And you're another example of if you want to be a contractor and you want to be the best contractor you can be, it's all about service.
Correct.
Correct me if I'm wrong on
That's
any
right.
of this. It's about communication. That's the most
Yes,
important
sir.
thing you're going to do every day is communicate.
That's right.
Because guess what? People don't know how anymore. The hardest thing you do every day, bar none, is communicate or getting communication. Therein lies the OP factor,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
But it's harder today than ever before. At least it is in my life. How about you guys?
Absolutely.
What's wrong, people? Anyway, enough about that. So now, what took you to garage?
It's funny. So about a year.
I
and
mean,
a
I
half
can
ago,
imagine what, but
Yeah. So
got to hear the
a
story.
year and a half ago or so, 2 years ago, I was just looking around on the internet, and I wondered if a car lift would fit in my garage at home. So I
it started with a car
started
lift.
with looking for a car lift. Had never
'Cause
really
I-
experienced one.
Thinking of questions to talk about today because I know car lifts, but and I said, well, surely we can talk about car lifts.
Mhm.
And Dad, lo and behold, it all started with a car
I
lift.
started with a search for a car lift, and I came across a garage living website, which I had never seen before, and it was gorgeous. The website was awesome, and I thought, wow, this is impressive. So I looked into it a little bit. Turns out car lift would not fit in my garage, by the way. But I realized as I was looking into that website that this was a franchise, and I looked for locations and realized pretty quickly there's no Charlotte location. There was one in Raleigh, and that was it, in North Carolina. And I started thinking, that's kind of interesting. I've always loved the idea of this neat, organized, finished, like clean as can be garage, and thought maybe it was an opportunity. So I chewed on it for a little while, finally made a phone call several weeks later, talked with their broker about it. And it was not, I thought, a fit for me, just because we self-perform a lot of the work. And that's, as a remodeling contractor, we don't have in-house labor. And so I'm used to subcontracting.
You're
most of our work.
subcontracting.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And so I didn't think that was a fit for me, but I love the idea. I love the support from the franchise perspective. And I thought initially, maybe I can do this on my own without franchise. But as I then made a phone call to maybe 10 or so franchisees, just out of the blue, said, here's who I am. This is what I'm thinking about. What's your experience been like? And it was all positive feedback about
These
just
were other franchise owners of
Around the-
Garage
yes, sir, around the country.
Living.
Yep. And ultimately, I came to, how long would it really take me to develop this on my own, without the resources, without the vendors, without knowing the products, without knowing the systems, and how much time and effort, how much time would it take to do this to be successful versus buying into a franchise, which looks like a really good franchise, and getting a jump start on it. And so ultimately what pushed me there was, I thought about it for a long time, and finally I realized, if I don't do this, someone else is going to grab this franchise, and I'm going to regret not doing it. And so I took the leap.
And that was how long ago?
We opened March of last year.
And how's it going?
We're on the right track now.
You're on the right track
Yes,
now.
sir. Yeah, it's going much better. Frankly, since we brought Tony on, it's been a game changer for us.
Well, their management's the whole thing too. I mean, and that's what you've got.
It's been another learning experience.
Isn't everything?
Yep.
But it's going well, Tony?
It's going great. It really has been. So it's just
Now,
busy.
back to the labor. Where are you getting your labor from?
So we have,
If you
in-house-
don't mind me asking.
we currently have 3 installers who work for us, and we got those through Indeed ads, all 3 of them.
Gotcha.
We get, you know, I mean,
Well, you're
they're-
taking care of them too.
Sure, of course. Yeah.
Well, see, that's something that a lot of industry people don't. I'll cover it all. See, a lot of industry people out there, men, are not empathetic or caring enough about the employees to take care of them in a way that we can build the image of working with your hands. You got to pay people. And unfortunately, there's some people in the industry that don't pay people. I'm not saying you do or you don't. I'm not picking on you at all. But this has been a problem. And if you're going to have good labor, you got to take care of your labor.
Agreed.
That's the bottom line.
Yep.
I never, and here again, I don't mean to talk about myself, but I paid my guys good. They were remodelers. Because when they left me, they said, "You were paying us real good." I said, "I know. But you stayed here.
Right.
And you are a key factor in growth. If you cannot grow a company if you don't have good people."
It's about culture too.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And that's taking care of the culture.
Right.
Right. Well, good. So that's going good.
It's going great. It's really, we're definitely growing, and we expect a lot this year as well.
Now, your job is what?
So I'm the design consultant. So my job is I will go out and meet with the customer, do a design consultation based off what they're looking to do or what ideas they may have. And so I'll go out, meet with them, do full measurements of the garage. Do
you read a tape measure?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you do?
Oh, I do.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, I'm sorry. I just had
No, that's good. It's good. I mean, I've been able to read
You
a
don't
tape
have
measure.
a device that does it. You hold it in the middle of the room and it does everything for you?
No, I do have a laser measurer, but I'm kind of a tape measure guy. So the long distances, the laser measure, but the shorter distances, I'm using my tape measure. So I literally will measure and sketch out the customer's garage while I'm on site. Let them look at samples, whether it comes to flooring, cabinetry, slat wall organization. And then my normal MO is usually within 24 hours, I will produce to them a 3D rendering of their garage with our ideas. And then do we like this? Do we want to change anything? And then we go from there as far as once we come up on a design, start pricing it out for them and then take off from there.
Awesome. Now, what do you do? Now, I know you just told me what you do, but what does Garage Living of Charlotte offer in the way of garages? Okay, because the website is mind-blowing, top drawer, no question.
Yes, sir.
But you don't have to get all that.
That's right.
So tell me what you do.
So our goal
do you do garage doors?
We do not do garage doors.
See, that was out. We just shoved that away right out of the gate. We don't do garage doors.
That's
here.
right.
Okay, got that away. I'm sorry. I just wanted to go ahead and cover that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Because I know it's going to come up.
That's right. So we do garage floor coatings. We do slat wall systems, which are open wall storage systems where they are applied to the walls, and then we have various accessories put on slat walls. So you can configure that wall however you want. We have overhead storage, whether it's motorized or fixed in place. We have 3 lines of cabinetry, kind of a good, better, best. And we supply and install car lifts. Those are our core offerings. And we have a showroom in Huntersville, which most garage businesses don't have that. And that's really...
Where it be? Where is it?
It's just off of 115 at Rama Church Road in Huntersville.
Okay.
It's in the Siegel Business Park.
So you've got car lifts and all this stuff in there.
We don't have a car lift in there yet.
You don't
we have
yet?
cabinetry and
I'm
slat
just
wall
asking,
and floor coatings and that
because
kind of thing.
the car lifts, let's face it, Charlotte's a wealthy city. Let's just tell it like it is. A lot of fine automobiles in this. There's cars in this city you have no idea that are here.
Oh, yeah.
This guy said, oh, yeah. I went in the house over in Marcroft, and there was a brand new 57 Corvette. I said brand new. It had been totally restored. Blew me away. I couldn't believe it. But anyway, those kind of things exist, and people want car lifts.
People want car lifts.
I did not realize car lifts were so popular until I came to work for Garage Living. So it's everything.
How popular are they?
I'm quoting one almost at least 1 or 2 a week.
Really?
So they are. I never realized the different applications. So you have the person that has the Lambo, the Ferrari, and they just want to get it up off the ground so they can get their other cars in. But then you also have the people that are buying, say, a townhouse or a single family unit with a 1-car garage that has the height to put a lift in, and the
Okay.
owners do not want to park both of their cars outside. And so then it makes sense, let's put a lift in there. Now both cars can get inside. And so there's a wide variety of customers that get them, whether it's the sports car enthusiast or just making room for the wife's car in the garage.
That's awesome. And it's all about height of the garage itself.
It is. Normally, when we go to a home that with the car lift, unless the homeowner is knowing that they're going to get a car lift when they're building the home and have a garage door conversion done, when we go out there, we will then work with a garage door company to come out and quote the conversion of the door, as long as the ceiling's high enough. And when I do my renderings, my 3D renderings, if I'm doing a car lift, I will put the car lift in the rendering, and then I'll actually put the car sizes, what their cars are going to be, so they can see how it's going to fit in their garage.
Right.
And that it will fit and how high they can go with it and stuff like that.
Wow.
This doesn't have to be, by the way, it's not all high-end homeowners who have, as much money as they want. The goal really is organization for anybody who wants to be able to walk into their garage and feel good, right? Get the chaos out of there. So simple organization makes a big difference.
Well, the way storage is in this world we live in, storage has become a big multi-billion-dollar industry in itself. And that just goes to show you how much junk we Americans have. It's incredible how much junk we have. Anyway, but garages can be very efficient and easy to deal with space.
That's right.
You
If
know.
you can if you have a storage unit and you don't need to pay that monthly fee, and you can have an organized garage, which can eliminate that may make sense.
How do you I'm just curious how you're marketing. Because I know it's a very popular concept. Any garage improvements. Garages have become large.
Sure.
In the Charlotte demographic and marketing as a whole. I mean, people are building houses with 3, 4, 5, 6-car garages.
Yeah.
It's basically up to the point.
Right.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Are you doing much work up there in the garages?
We're there currently, if you've been up there recently, there are many barn dominiums going up on Brawley School Road.
No, I hadn't been up there
well,
lately. As I told you, I tried to stay away. And it's not a place that, let's go up to Brawley School today and ride around. No, I don't think so. Although I did one Sunday, believe it or not.
But one of the most common referrals that I ask for is everybody knows somebody that has a garage.
Oh, yeah.
All right. And my big thing is it's not just the high end. It's the customers that when you drive by their home and their garage is open, there's no room in a 2-car garage for even 1 car. And the idea is to get all that off the floor.
That's a true Southern garage.
It is. It is absolutely a true Southern garage.
If I pulled up, and I've told this before, I was told to go out and check a job out by a contractor here in Charlotte that was having difficulty with their client, with the customer. He said they're very picky, and they're actually OCD to the point of I don't know if I can please them. I pulled up in the driveway. And the garage door opened, and it was clean, and there was nothing in it but 3 cars. And I said, "Oh dear, I see the problem immediately." You laugh, but you know where I'm coming from. Empty garage in the South? Are you kidding me? And there was an OCD problem, big time. But we talked through the issues and all that. But the garage was a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
Because in the South we don't put cars in our garages. Nope. Now if you got a motorcycle, oh yeah, the Harley will fit in there, or 2, or whatever, or the jet ski. Mm-hmm. It's all backed up over the corner. Right. But garages, but you said it.
Yeah. Most people these days, back in the day, the garage was just the garage. Now people are making the garage actually a room of the house, and where they don't want it to be the garage where you just throw everything in there and it lands on the floor. You want to store stuff.
Every garage you do, you probably do the floor. I'm guessing.
Not quite. Maybe
really?
70%.
I would say probably
What
60,
floor
70%.
coverings do you offer? Let's talk about the floor coverings because I've seen a lot of pretty garage floors.
Yeah. So we offer two main floor coverings, primarily concrete floor coating. Ours is a branded name called FloorTex. It's made for us by Rhino Linings, but it's polyaspartic floor coating.
Poly what?
Polyaspartic. So in the floor coating business, you're used to seeing epoxy. Right?
Yes.
So you kind of go a progression from epoxy to maybe polyurea to polyaspartic, and that's another kind of good, better, best. And what we offer is a polyaspartic formulation.
See, I learn every Saturday on this show. You know, I hope to anyway. If I didn't, it's only because the guest didn't have anything to offer beyond my common knowledge. But at any rate,
polyaspartic.
And what can maybe I'm asking too many questions. Why is this so tough? I mean, it's just because the it's better than epoxy.
It's better than epoxy for a couple of reasons. Epoxy tends to be it's inflexible, right? So
Brittle.
It's brittle, exactly. And so epoxy, it's a good way to look at epoxy in relation to a car that drives on it. If you put the comparison I've always gotten is if you have a hot pan, like a cast iron pan,
Sure,
and you throw a cold steak on it, what happens?
it
It sticks right to it.
Yeah,
right?
it sticks.
Kind of the same concept with hot tires on epoxy.
Okay, that's why you hear it.
And that's why you see
That's why you
over
hear
time,
it too.
you see hot tires lift off the epoxy in
Gotcha.
garages. And the polyaspartic doesn't do that. It's much more flexible. It remains flexible.
Folks, that's the word of the day. Polyaspartic. Did I say it right?
You got it.
You did. Yes, sir.
Polyaspartic, the word of the day.
That's pretty good. It took me longer than one day to learn that.
Oh, normally I'm not too good with names, but sometimes I hit a home run. Right, Rich. Yeah, polyaspartic.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's good. That's interesting to know
What-
because if they're look, if I know anything about one area of garages that have become very popular, and that's floor coating,
Yes, sir.
It is.
big time. And I've seen some good ones, and I have seen some bad ones, but I didn't know what to call it. Now, if it's not polyaspartic, it isn't good stuff.
That's not necessarily true. It's just not as
Okay,
good.
well, yeah, I'm getting straight here. I'm getting straight here. Okay,
Yeah.
but so anyway, but you don't necessarily finish all the garage floor. Well, they're not necessary if you got a good surface.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes they're already finished, have been finished by someone else. Sometimes it's not a priority, and the storage is a priority for people. And so it's about what is the right fit for the client.
Now I'm gonna ask a big question. I'm gonna wait to the break because we're up against the clock in the break. You say that now you're getting calls for people that just want to improve the space and use it for a living space.
Absolutely.
Man caves. Is that a thing?
Yes, it is.
Gyms,
Yes.
workout,
Yep.
weight rooms,
Yep.
whatever.
And kids areas too. We had a detached garage where the homeowners, they simply wanted it cleaned out and storage to make it a kids play area with a little side gym. So all kinds of opportunities with the garage these days.
So you're getting all kinds of questions and desires. Have you ever done a full-fledged remodel? You go in there and you just hold that question because I'm going to take a break here. 704-227-8986. It is break time. I wasn't paying attention to the clock. You didn't tune up much. I can't hear this. I can't hear the news. There it is. There it is. There it is. All right. We're going to take a break here. We're talking Garage Living of Charlotte Metro. How far you go?
We go a long ways.
Okay, we'll talk about that too. All right, we're going to take a break here. We'll be back with more about your house on Fox Sports Charlotte.
Go to our Facebook page, About Your House Radio. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Hi, I'm Sam Attero of AtteroMedia.com, and I love empowering my clients and partners to make the most out of today's latest digital media tools. We specialize in building production systems and podcast studios for small to mid-sized churches and local businesses here in Charlotte. Do you need new media production gear? Do you need help learning how to use it? You're in great hands with our family business, Attero Media of Charlotte. That's ETTARO Media.com.
Steve Helms here with the Al Metal Driving Corporation. The Al Metal Driving Corporation is a full-service driving company. Regardless of the problem, we can handle it. Does your clothes dryer take longer than 45 to 50 minutes to dry a load? If so, you need your dryer vent cleaned or checked. The clothes dryer is the most inefficient appliance in the house and should never take longer than 45 to 50 minutes. Call Al Metal Dryer Vent today at 704-846-8368 or online at almetaldryervent.com. That's 704-846-VENT. Have you cleaned your dryer vent lately?
Owens Chimney Systems is known for all professional chimney services since 1989, including chimney cleaning, recommended annually, chimney evaluations and inspections, any and all chimney repairs and restorations, gas fireplace and gas fire log service, furnace cleaning, cleaning out one of the most overlooked appliances in the home. Get it done right the first time. That's Owens Chimney Systems at 704-554-9595. Or you can visit us online at owenschimneysystems.com.
Carolina Foundation Solutions is a family-owned and operated company and a licensed general contractor in North and South Carolina, providing foundation solutions from the mountains to the sandy shores of the coast. At Carolina Foundation Solutions, our objective is to help educate, offer guidance, and provide assistance. With over 200 years of combined experience, our family of experts are ready to help protect and repair your largest investments. If you have a problem, we have a solution. Call 877-883-4626 or online, carolinafoundationsolutions.com.
Have a comment or question for the show? Call us 704-227-8986. That's 704-227-8986. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back. We're talking about garage living of Charlotte today. And it's an interesting subject because, like I say, being born and raised in Charlotte, there weren't a lot of garages around, but it's turned into even the new condos and patio homes and all the new apartments, there's a section of them that have garages. Not that you can go in there and remodel them because they're rentals. But as far as residential garages, y'all do it all. Is there a job that you've got, they call you up and you're just going to gut the thing and redo the whole thing?
So we typically try to stick with, we can do it all because I'm a GC. We could, turnkey the whole thing.
Curious.
Right. We could. That's not typically the goal. It just, we're trying to find the right fit for the client. So
I got you.
What we would not typically do is, we've gotten a couple of phone calls in the past because the garage living name may throw somebody out on the wrong track. We're not trying to help you live in your garage. We've gotten a few people who say, I want to live in my garage. Well, that's not us. That's a different application.
A little misnomer there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But we're not trying to focus on one particular solution. It's whatever's right for the client. That's what we want to do.
Gotcha. And most of the time it's around storage and efficiency.
Yes, sir. Correct.
Now, what about the mechanics? Have you seen any of them yet? Or they got their own? They probably got their own game plan.
They have their own game plan.
Yep. Now, garage list, when you speak garage list, what are we talking about? Now, I know that's a pretty broad question, and I understand that. But garage lifts don't come in one size; they come in various.
What about car lifts?
Yeah, car lifts.
Yep. They have, so we stick to one particular brand called Wildfire. It's a 4-post car lift, and they have various options. The standard is a 9,000-pound single car lift that'll fit most vehicles. They have an exotic, which is intended for a wider wheelbase vehicle, some of your higher end sports cars or some SUVs. They have an XLT, an extra large, which is intended for heavy, big vehicles with a taller height, so more clearance underneath. And they have doubles where you can put 2 cars side by side on a car lift and raise those up.
Dang.
Yeah.
You got it covered.
Pretty well have it covered.
And are these hydraulic or electric?
These run off of 120.
Just really?
Yes, sir.
So they're electric.
Yep.
There's no fluid in them.
There is hydraulic fluid.
Oh, there's a hydraulic pump controlled by electric.
Yep. Correct.
So they're hydraulic with electric pumps.
Right.
Cool. That's awesome.
They're fun.
They are. They don't need to be bolted in the ground. So,
really? They're
no,
freestanding?
They are freestanding. They the standard lift, which is the most common because it will hold most cars, it weighs about 2,500 pounds. And so we don't need to bolt it in the ground.
Well, I've got a question. This is my question to you. We're developing a workspace, a maker space, call it, a connector space, being it's going to have a little bit of automotive, a little bit, not a lot, just teasers, electrical, plumbing, carpentry. Like I say, a maker space, a connector space, because if you don't know about the careers and the trades, how would you know?
Sure.
You go in there and play, do a little welding, even cooking for some kids, because kids don't know how to cook. You know, well, you got this space that you could just have a little dabble in everything.
That's great.
We could have a Saturday automotive day to where we jack a car up, look under it, identify the catalytic converter, the oil pan, what are the components, and teach kids about automotive. Some kids would just love that.
Yeah.
And gravitate to the automotive industry. You know, well, okay, here we go. We need a car lift, hypothetically. Okay. So I could get a car lift freestanding that I could pull a car in there and jack that sucker and I've got headroom. I've got clearance above.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the standard lift, the highest that it will go up as far as a car is 78 inches. So you've got 6 foot 6 inches to walk up underneath it.
Right.
Its highest point.
Now I'm going to ask a broad question. What's something like that cost roughly? Can you give me a ballpark?
Yep. Typically installed, it's what, $8,500? Well, it just went up.
It just went up. So it's going to be about $8,800.
So less than 10 grand.
Less than 10 grand. And what that's going to do is and I will say you can go, because we want our customers to look into the product. And so you can go on Wildfire and you can buy a lift from them for just over $5 grand plus freight. Now, what I always let the customer know is if you do that, they're going to show up with an 18-wheeler in front of your house, and they're not going to unload it or anything. It's your responsibility to get it off the 18-wheeler and get it up into the garage.
Do you have a forklift in your garage?
Yeah.
Right,
exactly.
You're going to need one.
And so what our
price... Or a Moffett. You got a Moffett? We got it.
What our price will include is it includes shipping, delivery. It'll come to our warehouse. We'll get it off with our forklift, disassemble it. And then we will transport it by trailer to the job site, get it into the garage. And really the way the technicians have it down, they kind of have a system to it now.
Sure.
And so by the time they get the parts in the garage and stuff, it's usually 2 to 3 hours after that the car is up on the lift.
Got it. So for 10 grand or less, you could have a lift in the garage.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
And they all come with casters. So when you let that thing down, the casters pick it up and you can roll that out of the way if it's in the way of your garage or what you want to do in there.
Really?
Roll it around. Yep.
So it's mobile.
It's mobile.
It is. And we've had customers who have intended
I had no idea.
And are intending to take the lifts with them when they move. And so that's why another reason why they like the Wildfires, because you don't have to bolt it in to the garage.
Very popular, it would seem to be. And they come in various shapes, sizes, heights, and adjusting to suit the need. That's awesome. What color are they?
They're black.
They're black.
Gray post with black lift.
Yeah,
and
right.
yeah, they're sharp looking.
That's neat. I'm glad to hear that. That's fun. All right, now cabinetry. Y'all sell a bunch of that, or you have it at your disposal, to sell.
Correct.
Ha- Good, better, best.
Good, better, best. Yep. That's all steel cabinetry.
And that's a whole design package in itself, is it not?
It is.
Yep.
And you recommend or show people what?
Yeah, we have 3 lines. Like I said, the good, better, best starts with the Garage Living Vantage, which is actually a set combo. It is a locker, a lower cabinet, little stainless steel countertop, and an upper. And you can reverse that to make a workbench area. Then our mid is the Garage Living Signature line, and then we have the Technica line. Both of those lines are normally what I'm quoting because those are individual components, so we can design a system based off what they're looking for.
Kind of like the kitchen cabinet modules.
Exactly. And then you can do various colors. You can do two-tone. You can have the cabinet base one color, the doors and drawers another. But that gives us the ability to really piece together a system for them that is more inclined to what they're, customized, I guess you could say.
How long does a job like yours take? I know you're going to say it depends on what we're doing.
It does. A floor is usually a day process, depending on the floor. Like a 2-car garage is usually about a day process.
You go in there, and I'm on. What time we got here? I want to see. We're up against the clock here shortly. Got about 3 minutes, but I want to talk more about the prep and what people should expect. Coming up in the next hour, because there is prep to it. And what you did say, and I want to go back on, is like the difference between you buying a car lift online or at another source is they're going to deliver it in a tractor trailer and you're responsible for unloading it. That's a big job right there.
It is.
But with you, it's not, you're taking care of it.
Yes, sir.
Not only that, you're delivering it. You're going to deliver the lift.
We're going to deliver it. We're going to assemble it. We're going to warranty it.
So there's no middleman here. It's a stress-free. So you're going to pay for it regardless. That's my point.
That's right. One way or another, you're going to pay for it.
You're going to pay for the headaches of getting it taken. And then who's going to set it up once you buy it?
Right.
Are you going to do it? There's your biggie right there. And by the way, these kids, and to interject something here, they asked me, in construction, do you have to know how to read?
Oh, yeah.
That's the question kids ask me. Now, because it was on their bingo sheet, I said, yeah, a lot. Like every day. You've got to read instructions.
That's right.
But can you believe they asked the question? Is reading included or necessary? A lot of reading in construction. Well, yeah.
Absolutely.
Especially to all you men that don't know how to read instructions. Companies, and here we go, right? And there's instructions with what you do.
That's right.
And you read them, don't you?
Yeah.
You better darn well read them.
That's right.
People, these companies invest a lot of money in instructions. At least you could read them. And believe me, it'll save you a lot of time and most of all money.
Yeah.
Because you have 24 steps in the process.
And patience.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, patience. But you do 24 steps and you don't do 8 right. Then when you get to 24, you say, well, what's wrong with this?
Yep.
And I looked at it. This happened to me many times in life. I looked at the instructions and said, go back to number 8 and start over again. So what do you mean? Read the instructions. You'll see what I mean. Right?
That's right.
There you go. Stress-free. They take care of that for you. 704-227-8986. You're listening to About Your House on Fox Sports Charlotte. Download the free app. Come back. We're going to talk about the NARI meeting coming up and what's that about. If you want to be a better contractor and learn from networking, great place to be, NARI of Greater Charlotte. That's where I met Tony here.
It sure is.
Sure did. We had a nice little conversation. And they wouldn't be here if I wasn't at that NARI meeting that night.
That's right.
But I wasn't at the last one. I failed to write it on my calendar. See what you do if you don't write stuff down? That's what happens. Come back. We'll be here next hour number 3, coming up right here on About Your House. Exterior. Garage Living of Charlotte is what we're discussing. Come back. But anyway, I'm not here.
Grab another cup of coffee and join us for Hour 3. Scott Liseno and Tony Vanderpool of Garage Living of Charlotte talking Nary garages while also giving you some tips along the way. So stay tuned. You won't want to miss it. About Your House is brought to you by PutToolsInSchools.org, connecting students to tools of the trades and raising awareness of the many career pathways. Also brought to you in part by Queen City Home Store, formerly known as Queen City Audio, Video, and Appliances. Same great store, different name. Queen City Home Store is a family-owned store serving the Carolinas for over 70 years. They're the largest independent appliance retailer in the Carolinas, constantly growing and taking pride in the experience they offer customers with a knowledgeable sales staff, product selection, and lowest price guarantee. So sit back, relax, and enjoy some time with us. And now, here's your host, Ray Terry.
All right, welcome back. Hour number 3, Garage Living of Charlotte. I do want to talk a little bit about the NARI meeting coming up. NARI meeting at Thursday, April 24th at Cosentino down in on Granite Street, down in the Westinghouse Boulevard area. And I'll tell you, well, I'll ask my constituents here. You've been a member of NARI how long?
Couple years.
Couple years.
Mm-hmm.
What made you join NARI? Just from your point of view.
What made me join NARI was
Didn't make you, but what kind of?
I wanted to join NARI because I thought it was a group of professionals, and I thought it was a great place where we could meet other trades, other designers, other construction companies in a professional setting, and I thought it was people who are willing to invest in their careers, in opportunities, and a like-minded community. You can't beat that.
I've learned so much from the NARI members. Well, you're part of it. And that was my whole objective to get back involved with NARI, because there's not a better organization in the Charlotte area dealing with remodelers. And I've always said remodeling is the artistic side of construction, the creativity. And another factor is the way the women have come into the industry. Over 50% of the members now are represented by the female gender, women. And that to me is intriguing to see women step up in the industry. And you can get all this in NARI.
Yeah.
You don't have to necessarily be a member if you're just interested and you want to learn from other professionals in the industry. Well, there you go. That's what you need to do, is go. And here we go. What I wanted to do is give you the address, and I will when I find it. Technology is amazing, because every time you need it, you can't get
That's
to what
right.
you want. Every time you need it, you can't get to what you want. Just Google Cosentino, April 24th. But better than that, go to NARICharlotte.com. NARICharlotte.com. It's not .org, it's .com. NARICharlotte.com. Go to the events, and you can register for it. And this month is all around workforce development. NARI has developed a committee around workforce development, and they are partnering with different nonprofits, such as Put Tools in Schools. And that whole meeting coming up at the NARI meeting this month is focused around workforce development. Now, I encourage all professionals to get more involved with workforce development. That's the new buzz term for the trades, okay? Teaching kids about the trades, around the trades. And once again, it works once we introduce these kids to the concept of working with your hands and your mind, because they're not being taught that in the Charlotte, Mecklenburg area schools. I can't talk for all schools because I don't live everywhere. I live here, and I only know what I'm surrounded in my environment has. Make sense? And I know for a fact when I ask kids about tools and they don't know anything, well, why not? Because they don't exist in our public education system.
Right.
That's it. I'm not criticizing. Well, yeah, I am too. Yes, I am. We've got to put tools back in the schools. We've got to. We have to. And if you don't realize how bad the problem is, call an electrician next week. Call a mechanic. Call a drywall guy. Call a painter. See what you get. You won't get what you want normally. Now they're out there. Good. You got great craftsmen out there. I don't mean there are not many. I mean, not out there, but they're not in numbers. They're few and far between. Talking about people who are truly craftsmen. They're less popular these days, believe me. And unfortunately, I know firsthand because I'm normally the third or fourth person that shows up on a job. And typically the only person that knows what he's doing when he shows up on the job. And I'm not bragging, but that's just the way things are, But I love it because I love a good challenge. But how do we teach critical thinking to our kids? How? We've got to teach them about the trades, working with your hands and your mind and putting it to good use. This month, April 24th, that's Thursday evening, 5:30 to 8 at Cosentino down in the Westinghouse on Granite Street, down in off Westinghouse Boulevard. That's the National Association of the Remodeling Industry of Greater Charlotte. There you go. It's worth it, isn't it?
It's great.
It is. We'll be there.
It's a great networking event. I won't be there because I'm on my way back from Seattle. But I've got 5 representatives from Put Tools in Schools that will be on site and listening attentively, because our whole directive this year is to get industry to step up and let Put Tools in Schools do what we're doing to raise the awareness in the schools, and if NARI can get into the schools, so be it. I don't care who gets in them, as long as we collectively get in them. I don't care who does it. Doesn't matter, does it? No. As long as we do it. All right, let's get back on track about garages. Garages. Do y'all have a particular garage door company y'all work with?
I've been using Race City Garage Doors
What's
up
that?
in Mooresville. Race City up in Mooresville.
Oh, Race City.
Yeah, they're
That makes
fantastic.
sense.
Kim and Joe are great to work with, and so that's who I recommend to all my customers.
Gotcha. But you've developed a relationship with them, and
Absolutely, and it's the same when we need a garage door conversion done. I'm all about referrals and networking and things along that line, and so I always refer to Race City for the garage door conversions, and then JBM and Electric is my electrician who will do all the power for me. So, and because I've worked with them on so many jobs, it's trustworthy.
well, you just hit something I was going to ask about directly, and that's the electrical aspect of garages. Have y'all gotten into any conversion on where you pull an electrician in, like to wire a charging system
Yes.
for a car?
Yes.
Or welders or any other 220 or higher voltage?
I am referring my electrician on a large portion of my jobs.
I would think so.
And some of it may be to put in a Tesla charger. I've got one customer that needs one put in, but he's also, my electrician is going to be doing the electrical for the car lift itself. So he needs to put an outlet up where the motor is going to go, the new motor for the garage door, and then an outlet in for the car lift itself.
That's why I kind of went there, because even what we've been discussing in the car lift, there's electrical needed.
Sure.
What kind of amperage are we talking about on the car lift?
You want a 20 amp dedicated circuit.
20 amp? Gotcha.
Yep. And that's what's nice is that, it's another thing where we try to take care of it for the customer, where the customer doesn't have to go out and contact an electrician, find an electrician, or find a garage door company. When I come out there and it is a lift and they're interested in doing it, I will go ahead and refer them to my electrician and my garage door company. And usually within a couple of days, they're out there doing their quote. And that way the customer knows that they're getting it all done by 3 companies that have worked with each other and continue to work with each other.
So, subcontracted, you just got a team of people that'll come in there and give the pricing, knowing what your product lines are.
Yep.
And
absolutely.
they'll go in there and, because once again, electricians, specialty items take specialty electric placement, like a Wolf range. Once again, if you put a 220 outlet behind a Wolf range and it's not in the right place, the Wolf range will not go back to the wall. Scott's over here bobbing his head. Yep, hey, that's right. You've run there before.
Yeah,
You've
of
had
course.
that happen
Yes,
before,
sir.
haven't you?
Yeah, of course.
And it's very important that when some specialty electric device or appliance requires correct placement of outlets and electrical feeds, right?
Yes.
And this is all about relationships, just like
I agree.
It is.
That's
It's all
why I'm
about
bringing
building
it
the
up.
relationships.
Because if a guy or gal comes and does wiring and doesn't know where he's to put the circuit, why is he there?
Right.
There
True.
again, it goes right back to that reading concept. Because if you read the instructions to a particular appliance, it's going to tell you exactly where to place the electrical. Wouldn't you agree to that?
I would agree with that.
And you got to read the instructions to figure that out. Just like when you are wiring for a dual fuel range. Once again, back to that oven and range. If you didn't read the instructions, why'd you even show up that day? Because you're going to have to redo it. Yep, helps to know how to read.
So much of everything that we do is solved by communication and relationships, right?
Everything. What's the problem with this divorce rate? See, I'm going off center here, aren't I? I don't care. The whole problem behind that is communication or lack thereof,
right,
and honesty. And the grass ain't always greener, believe me. But it's all around communication and relationships, right?
Yep.
Absolutely. There's no doubt.
That's the key to life. The most important thing we do every day is communicate. I say this so much in this day and time and on this show because we're not doing a good job with it. And our kids especially aren't. They're afraid to talk. I'm sorry I reflect so much to the kids, but I just this is so important for their well-being.
Yeah.
It really is. All right. Garages. What are they using on countertops? What do y'all put on countertops in garages? Because that's a biggie. I got all this workspace and counter space. What is it?
So we do a lot of workbenches, and my go-to is butcher block. It's just more
That's
durable.
what I
So
would've
now
guessed.
I do stainless steel and black stainless steel countertops. It really depends on the application. But if it's really a workbench that's going to be utilized as a workbench, I'm really pushing the butcher block. I mean, stainless steel, it looks great, but everybody knows that stainless steel refrigerator there how hard it is to keep it clean.
Yep.
And a lot of people, they don't want to see that. So I tend towards the butcher block. It just depends on the application.
What do you clean stainless with? What's your go-to?
Stainless steel cleaner. I don't have a.
You ever tried WD-40?
No, not in the stainless.
Give it a shot.
Yeah, okay.
I think you'll be pleased.
All right.
Okay. All right.
WD-40 is my go-to. Because
Great
when
product.
I finish a vent hood,
Mhm.
I'll always wipe it down
Yeah,
with WD-40.
okay.
Always.
Good to know.
Because, you're going to put fingerprints on it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you can buy other, as you well know, stainless steel cleaners and dressings, but, I found that my go-to is WD-40, a terry cloth rag.
Mhm.
Can't go wrong. Or what do they call it?
Microfiber.
Microfiber rag.
Microfiber, yep.
Yeah, that'll work great too. But yeah, it's good stuff. It works great. All right, we're going to take a break here. We'll be back with more Garage Living of Charlotte. Not Monroe, Charlotte. Not Raleigh, Charlotte. How do you get in touch with you?
Website or phone, either one.
What's the website?
GarageLiving.com/Charlotte.
/Charlotte.
Yes,
Got
sir.
it. All right. Or Google it.
Google it.
It'll show up there too. That's my go-to now. I just Google everything. Then they'll give you an array of buttons to push. And if they work, you'll go there. Speaking of working, I got a story to tell. We'll be back with more about your house.
More about the show? Go to our Facebook page, About Your House Radio. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
John DeLand here, manager at Crown Town Cannabis, Charlotte's original CBD and hemp resource, where the staff can help you with any questions or concerns. All of our products are third-party tested for purity and quality. Oils, edibles, Delta-9, topical creams, vapes, THCA flower, and products to help with the pets. Visit our new South End store at 115 Park Avenue in the South End. All 4 of our Charlotte area stores are open 7 days a week. Check online for the store near you. That's crowntowncannabis.com.
Let's face it, we do not like bugs and especially spiders and ants. Unwanted pests in the home are not only creepy, they can also spread sickness and cause significant damage to the structural integrity of our homes. Kilo Exterminating has been taking care of pest control problems in the Charlotte area for over 70 years with award-winning customer service. Moisture readings are standard with all crawl space inspection. Call Kilo Exterminating at the first sign of infestation, 704-333-9855, or online at kilo.biz. Again, that's 704-333-9855.
Hi, I'm Sam Attero of AteroMedia.com. Someone asked me once what I love the most about my 30-year-long career as a media producer and educator, and I have to say the fact that not only do I get to create for a living every day, but then I get to teach and help others to use the content and gear systems that I've built for them themselves. You need professional live event video production or streaming services? You're in great hands with our family business. All 5-star Google reviews. That's ETTARO media.com.
Mike Libretto here, inviting you to come in and experience Charlotte's best New York pizza and great Italian food at Libretto's Pizzeria. Serving Charlotte proudly since 2008, Libretto's pizzas are sure to please by the slice or grab a whole pie. Pastas, entrees, great appetizers, sandwiches, and wings. A menu to please the whole family. Dine in or takeout, available 7 days a week. Visit us online at librettospizzeria.com or call us at 704-714-1442. That's Libretto's Pizzeria. Stop in and become part of the family.
There's big news in the Carolinas. Queen City Audio, Video, and Appliances is now Queen City Home Store. For over 70 years, we've been your trusted retailer for appliances, electronics, and more. Now, we're taking it to the next level with a new name, a fresh look, and more ways to serve you, offering the same outstanding service you've always counted on, while bringing you everything you need for your home. Queen City Home Store. Same great service, more possibilities. Visit us at queencityonline.com.
Have a comment or question for the show? Call us 704-227-8986. That's 704-227-8986. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back. You know, Omnia. How'd you come up with that name?
Yeah, so Omnia is, of course, it's Latin for total, all, everything. And when I first started the business, I had my name on the business. And when I moved here in 2011, I didn't want to have my name attached to the business. So one evening, I sat down on the computer and typed into a English to Latin translator a couple of phrases, and I came up with a list of 7 or 8 options for what the new business name was going to be. And I brought the list to my wife, who's a lot smarter than I am, and I said, "Here you go. What do you think?" And she took one look at it, and she crossed this one out, and she crossed this one out. She said, "Can't pronounce it. That's dumb. No way." Circled the last one remaining, and that was Omnia. And so Omnia Construction was born.
Got it. And you started in remodeling.
Yes, when I had my career in new construction project management, but when I moved here, it was 2011. Wasn't much new construction going on, and no one knew me. So I was not going to get an opportunity to build a house. I knew that. And so my first job was I hung a TV in a guy's office for $50. That was my first Omnia job.
There's another great example of what I tell kids. I said, you go out and hang a TV and make $100 easy.
Yep.
And if you're lucky and do it in the right house, you can make $200.
That's right.
You know, and if you know a little bit of electrical and want to put the receptacle behind the TV, there's you another $150 to $200, and all that in one morning.
Yeah.
Then you asked me, can you make money in this business? And you did. And that's how you started.
That's how I started. I did handyman jobs for a long time and realized after not too long that, hey, remodeling, there's a lot of work here for remodeling, and a lot of new construction builders who also remodel. But if you focus on remodeling, there's a lot of opportunity there. And you and I talked about it's a different mindset, right? It's a service mindset versus a product mindset, and that makes a difference.
There's a lot of builders that don't like remodeling, a lot. More so than the reverse. Remodelers are a special breed of construction. I know this because I've been one my whole adult life practically. I started remodeling in 1973, and I just gravitated to it because of the creativity side and the challenges. Because not only do you have challenges with the structure, you got challenges with the people involved. And you're working in a house that those people live in.
Right.
And that offers a whole different set of parameters to the job. And it's okay because that's what you do.
Right.
Right?
That's right.
So But then you just kind of elevated and gravitated to the remodeling side.
I did.
What's the first full remodeling job you did?
So my first big job was a primary bath renovation. Renovated just changed the shower, updated the vanity. I think the tub was $4,000 all in. Now that was early days.
That was low.
It's
And
really
it was
low.
probably too cheap
It
back
probably
then.
was.
You
Yeah.
underpriced it because you wanted that job.
I was still learning.
I
was
get
still
it.
learning.
I've been
Yeah.
there, done that.
Yeah.
Lost a few thousand here and
Yeah.
there,
Yeah.
but you learn, right?
Yes, sir.
And you say you don't pay for that education. Yeah, you do too. Big time. But okay, so you did the bathroom. Then it kind of got in your blood and you was off and running.
We were off and running. Did a neighbor's bathroom after that, and it slowly grew from there. It's been very organic, slow growth over the last 15 years.
But you did it.
We did it.
And now what are you doing?
Now we have an unlimited license, so we can build anything.
What are you building these
We're
days?
building, it's all still renovations, remodels, and the sizes vary from 75,000 up to $1 million plus. And there are kitchens and bathrooms and additions and whole home remodels and basements. And
who's doing your design? I mean, how are you structured, if I might ask? Because in remodeling, there's design build firms that you go to them and they'll come in there and design it and plan it and do everything. And then there's other firms that's going to take a segment of it, one aspect of it, and you're going to have to work with other contractors. What's your format?
So we do not have in-house design. Almost every project we work on needs some level of design, whether it's interior design or architectural design, or oftentimes both. And so in those instances, we're going to refer specific partners whom we know and like and trust and bring into the project.
Well, that's another advantage to NARI.
Correct.
There's a lot of designers in NARI. Allison Hall said right there, you know Allison.
I do.
I figured you'd know Allison. There's a ball of fire right there, buddy. But Allison sat right there one Saturday morning and talked about what she does.
Yep.
And there again, you probably met her involved with the networking and through NARI.
Yeah, NARI.
And we talk about the benefits of networking, and if you're listening and paying attention, you get it. You can be a much better professional around much better professionals.
Good way to put it.
It is.
Right?
Yep.
So, okay, so you got into bathrooms and now you're off and running, and you're mostly subcontracting.
Correct.
Right. Are you having issues with finding good people?
We're not,
because
it's taken a long time, but we have a core group of subcontractors and vendors that we work with over and over again. Once again, relationships and communication.
Well, I can see how you grabbed a garage living concept. And that's you. You stay away from Omni?
I do. Now, granted, I work with them on some projects. I got a project going on right now that I got because they're doing a remodel project for the customer.
You're doing a remodeling project with a garage on it. You get garage living involved to do the.
Yes, sir. We can.
Correct.
We can. That was the idea. Was garage living. I felt like it tied in well with what Omnia does. Same type of clientele.
Oh yeah, I understand.
I felt they could feed off each other.
And you're mostly toward the higher end.
Omnia is towards the higher end. Yes, sir.
Right. Most remodeling is higher end, if you really want to know the truth, folks. Remodeling is a complex construction game, more so than just regular residential because of the tear out. And if you watch TV, you don't know what you're doing. Would you agree or disagree?
That's the first thing we tell clients is turn off HGTV.
Turn it off. I can't watch it. It's so wrong. Just get. And once again, you never use a sledgehammer in remodeling, hardly ever. Matter of fact, if I see one on a job, I say, what in the world are you using that for?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not busting up a tub or knocking a tea out, get that thing out of here, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's about all you need them for.
Yep.
But not on TV. It creates a lot of drama.
Mm-hmm.
Get that hammer drama. And, you ask kids too, what's the first tool you pick up in the morning? They say a hammer. Nope. Matter of fact, hammers aren't popular anymore, are they?
Not so much, nor is a handsaw.
No.
Hand saws are antiquated. It's like the folding rule. How many people use folding rules anymore?
Yep.
Did I tell you? Did I talk about the story about the folding rule yesterday in critical thinking? Yeah, I did. Okay, I really quick. I just gave two boys sitting there a folding rule. I said, open this. Over 5 minutes,
Oh, man.
they kept giving it to each other. Could not figure out how to open it, and I just sat there in utter amazement and said, "You're kidding me." And it ties into that lack of critical thinking. And I said, give it to me a minute. And I just unfolded it, They said, oh. I said, oh, you got it now? Here, try it. Still couldn't do it.
Oh.
No, couldn't. After a minute or two, they figured it out watching me. But that's what we're dealing with in our youth. So go figure. What do we do? I don't know. How do we tackle this issue?
Well, I think you're you're on the right track.
Yeah, but I need the industry to join in because no, it doesn't offer a quick return either. But that's something we got to face. Anyway, sorry to get off on that. So Omnia Construction, is that what it's called?
Yes, sir.
So if you Googled Omnia Construction, and you're predominantly up in Iredell County way.
We're in Mecklenburg County, primarily in Lake Norman.
Mecklenburg County, up at the hardest area to get inspections done on the planet.
That's right.
That's like being on another continent in Mecklenburg County. Am I right?
You are.
I mean, I've heard the story. I've heard the nightmare stories about getting stuff inspected up there. Is it as bad as we've heard?
Well, I'll tell you once again, over time, it's relationships. You get to know the inspectors and they get to know that they can trust that you're going to do the right thing. And then it gets easier. But they don't trust you on day one.
That's why I ask you.
Yep.
But you got to prove yourself.
You got to prove yourself. And then you can call them and you can text them and they'll respond and they'll help you figure it out and say, can I do this or that?
And that's all being the best professional you can be, right?
That's right.
That's what it's all about.
You better do what you said you were going to do.
Do what you say what you do, and follow the rules.
Yep.
And there's a lot of rules. There are more rules today in the electrical aspect of it.
Oh, my gosh.
They change every year.
They change a lot.
It
seems they're going to implement it and then they don't, and then they do, and then they don't. And there's a lot.
I think it's all about money. It's all about new products and changing. These new electrical codes are getting squirrely. Of course, and I speak to electricians for my facts. I'm not giving you my opinions. This is not my opinion at all. It's other people in the electrical trade. I talked to an electrician last week, But let me go another direction real quick because I haven't mentioned it yet. Last week in Greensboro, North Carolina, I did mention it lightly. There's an event that goes on every year, and it's called Skills USA. You ever heard of it?
No, I don't know about that.
See, that's sad because Skills USA is a national organization all around the trades. And last week in Greensboro Coliseum, there in Convention Center up there, there's a Skills USA competition every April, and it was last week. I've been up there and visited 5 times. And it's an amazing event where they compete with they compete with so many of the trades. It's unreal. Cosmetology, welding, diesel mechanics, auto mechanics, design, graphic design. There's so many attached to Skills USA with electrical, plumbing, masonry, carpentry. They've got competitions up there with high school kids, older students, and it's just an amazing event every year that schools sign up for. They've got students and they go up there and compete. And then they can go beyond the state competition and go to national competition with Skills USA. Now, I bring it up because here we are in Charlotte-Mecklenburg. And I'll bet you 50 to 80% of the teachers don't even know what Skills USA is, which is sad because it's an opportunity for these kids to reach out into other occupational pathways that they don't know about. Yep. And that's been going on for quite some time. Now, our friend Keith Olson, teacher at Independence High, one of the few carpentry programs. He normally takes kids up there, and sure he did this year too. Now, I can't sit here and tell you how many Charlotte-Mecklenburg kids get to go to skills, but it's very, very few, relatively speaking. But it's growing, thank goodness. And that's another directive of this show around Put Tools in Schools. You don't know what you don't know. And you don't know how to behave around what you don't know. Well, let's voice it out there. There again, if industry steps up and use, if nothing else, this radio show for a outreach, well, I'm here for you. It's collaboration over competition. Today I was a little bit preachy about it because I see the results or lack of results when I go talk to these kids. So we got to do better, okay? And now how do you do it? And then I'm going to get back on track here. You go to puttoolsinschools.org, and there's ways to sign up and volunteer for the events and be a partner or a participant in these events. All you got to do is show up. What's the most valued commodity we all share? What is it? Test question. Come on. What's the most valued commodity we all have?
Kids?
Time.
Oh, time.
Yeah.
It's time, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're asking for is time. Your time. Your company's time. And I know there's a price on that, but you're going to give that up because the kids need it. And that's what we got to do. So I know I get a little carried away about it, but we got a problem. You got a problem. You got a problem. Sure. Called labor, right? Mm-hmm. Now you've worked through it, but it took you a few years to work through it too, didn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yep. And you also take care of your contractors, and they know they can take care of you. You know, building is all about teamwork. It truly is. And if you don't have a good team, if you don't develop a good team, you're not going to have a good company. There are contractors out there I will not work for because of what I just said. Every time I go to a job, something's wrong with it. How many times that have to happen before I kind of get it? These people don't know what they're doing. And there's a lot of, and I'm not here to cut down contractors. Yes, I am too. Because we've got to get better. Not only at representing our industry, but going out there and doing the best they can do every day. Be the best version of what you can be, what you can be. And what's the most important thing you do every day? Communicate.
Right.
It's easy to do. You got a smartphone, use it.
That's right.
So there you go. All right, today's been a show about garages. What else do you want to? Oh, we talked about electrical in garages.
Mm-hmm.
What about lighting?
Same. We would refer that typically to an electrician.
But you recommend lighting.
We do. It makes a big difference.
It makes a huge difference.
Lighting is, to me, the most important part of any remodeling job. Mm-hmm. It always has been, always will be. Matter of fact, once again, you can go in there and light something up, and it'll change the whole job before you've done a darn thing to the job, right?
That's right.
Yep. JB what?
JBM and Electric.
I've worked with him in a house with him before.
Javier is great. So he is a wonderful electrician, and he's got an incredible crew. So I can't recommend them enough.
Awesome. You deal with plumbers?
Not on the garage living side. I have a plumber in my networking group that I refer to all my customers if they need a plumber.
So you still do B&I?
I do B&I. I've been in B&I for, I think this is my 10th year.
Really?
Yeah, I've been in the same chapter for 10 years.
Which chapter?
Professional Connections up in Huntersville on Tuesday mornings. And so I joined them when I was with KS Audio Video, and I'd never known about networking groups. It was something totally new to me. And it paid off for me within the first few weeks that I joined that. And since
I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely. And since
how about you, Scott? You've been a networking group.
Same. I'm in that same. I was in that B&I group for 11 or 12 years. We're in it 2 times now. It's Omnia Construction is in there and Garage Living is in there.
And when I left the audio video industry, I'd been in that group for so long and built such good relationships that they were like, "You're staying with us." So I knew I wasn't going to leave that group. I actually went to another audio video company and I stayed in that group and got that company to join in. And then when I went with Garage Living, it was just obvious that I was going to join that as Garage Living.
Gotcha. You live up in Huntersville area?
No, I live up in Statesville near Lake Norman State Park. I live up in the Troutman Statesville area.
Wow.
I don't like the hustle bustle.
I don't blame
I need
you.
my quiet. So we tend
That's
to,
why I asked.
Yeah, we tend to move further out. So
Right.
I love it up there.
I talked to a friend of mine yesterday. I hadn't spoken to him in 2 years, and when I called him, he was a pressure washer, one of the best pressure washers I've ever known. He knew his craft very, very well. Not just everybody can pressure wash.
That's right.
Not just everybody knows how to operate that equipment correctly.
do a
But
lot of
anyway, I
damage.
called him. He says, I ain't talked to you in about 2 years. You didn't know where I don't live where I used to. I moved. I about died twice. And he's telling me all this stuff. I says, oh my gosh. But he's retired out of pressure washing. But there again, he said, I'm up in the mountains now. And I says, where are you at? He said, El Dorado. You know where El Dorado is?
I do.
You do?
I do. I've heard of El Dorado.
Well, I don't know where it's at, but he said, I'm up in El Dorado now.
That's our goal, is eventually to be up towards the mountains.
I love the mountains.
I do too.
Beautiful country. I love the country, but I'm involved with what I'm doing now, so I'm not going to back up now. I made it this far. I figured I'd just hang around and finish up before I can cash out, everybody's got to be someplace. And I'm not, and they say, are you going to retire? I'm as close to retirement as I'm ever going to be. But we can transition. Like this afternoon at 4:00, I'm going to take off for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, where are you going? Seattle.
Seattle, yeah. Going to Seattle to get her back to Charlotte.
Oh.
Yeah. She moved out there, and I say she, there's that woman thing again. You know how it comes into play,
Happy wife, happy life.
You hang on to that, okay? you hang on to it. I'm going to stay away from that. I just want to be happy at life, I failed at being happy, the happy wife guy. But that's okay. I can take it. It ain't no problem. We just grin and bear it. But anyway, we're going to travel cross country in June. I won't be here for 2 weeks in June because we're coming back from Seattle cross country. Going to do the northern route.
Nice.
Through Montana, Idaho, and down I just want to see Mount Rushmore before somebody said yesterday before they put Trump up there. That's a little political statement of the day. Yeah. But anyway, all right, we're going to take a break here, take an early break. No, we're not early. We're right on time. We're doing good. And we'll come back and wrap this show up with Omnia Construction. Had to include that because I love a remodeling company, especially a good one. And then also Garage Living of Charlotte. Right here on About Your House. We'll be back.
About the show, go to our Facebook page, About Your House Radio. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor.
Hi, I'm Sam Attero of AtteroMedia.com, and I love empowering my clients and partners to make the most out of today's latest digital media tools. We specialize in building production systems and podcast studios for small to mid-sized churches and local businesses here in Charlotte. Do you need new media production gear? Do you need help learning how to use it? You're in great hands with our family business, Attero Media of Charlotte. That's ETTARO Media.com.
Owens Chimney Systems is known for all professional chimney services since 1989, including chimney cleaning, recommended annually, chimney evaluations and inspections, any and all chimney repairs and restorations, gas fireplace and gas fire log service, furnace cleaning, cleaning out one of the most overlooked appliances in the home, get it done right the first time. That's Owens Chimney Systems at 704-554-9595. Or you can visit us online at owenschimneysystems.com.
Go outside and take a look at your home. Are the gutters doing their job? The number one enemy to your home is water. Most homes are built with small, inadequate gutters. ABS Insulating has a division of the company that does nothing but gutter services. All gutter services: cleaning, maintaining, repair, new downspouts, replacement, and new gutters, with many types available. They're a leader when it comes to gutter protection. Call ABS Insulating today, 704-821-4343 or absinsulating.com.
Steve Helms here with the Al Metal Driving Corporation. The Al Metal Driving Corporation is a full-service driving company. Regardless of the problem, we can handle it. Does your clothes dryer take longer than 45 to 50 minutes to dry a load? If so, you need your dryer vent cleaned or checked. The clothes dryer is the most inefficient appliance in the house and should never take longer than 45 to 50 minutes. Call Al Metal Dryer Vent today at 704-846-8368 or online at almetaldryervent.com. That's 704-846-VENT. Have you cleaned your dryer vent lately?
Have a comment or question for the show? Call us 704-227-8986. That's 704-227-8986. Now, back to the show.
All right, welcome back. About Your House. We've been talking to actually two companies today, which I did not know prior. But hey, we always find out things when they come on the show. That's what it's all about your house. Talking to Scott Liseno and you're Troy. No, you're Tony Vanderoll. We started out as...
It took us 3 hours.
Yeah. We started out with Troy and then kind of graduated to Tony. Tony Vanderoll. I apologize. I just spelled it wrong this morning. Talking about where you do service. I mean, because if you don't do work in Ballantyne.
Oh yes. So
we
we
okay,
we are not just regionally located. So we do the whole Charlotte metro area. We do South Charlotte, Ballantyne, Waxhaw, Monroe. We'll go down to South Carolina,
Indian Land, Fort Mill.
Absolutely, no question at all. I'll go up to Winston-Salem, out to Hickory. I've been to Asheville before. So depending on the project and what certain areas they don't have.
So y'all wide open.
We're wide open.
So there are no limited.
There's not
geographical restrictions.
I'm not going out to Colorado. I'll call my franchise out there. But yeah, as far as North Carolina, really from Greensboro to the Western North Carolina, that territory, we're wide open.
Gotcha.
Yep.
There's a Raleigh franchise, and so there's a limitation to how far we go.
You got a boundary somewhere between here and there, but and
Fort Mill, Rock Hill, all that area, Lake Wiley.
So you're covering it.
Yep.
And you're getting out there.
Absolutely. We've got jobs all over. We just we're wrapping one up near Winston-Salem. Did one down in Waxhaw last week, and we're doing one up now in Mooresville. So
you're a happy boy.
I am very happy. I couldn't be happier right now with what I'm doing with Garage Living. It's been the perfect transition for me and everything that I had hoped for and expected. And I mean, we're just getting started. So really looking forward to this year.
And Scott's a happy boy.
Scott's a happy boy. Tony took a lot of pressure off of me from a sales perspective. Turned all of that over to him. Every opportunity we get goes to Tony, and he handles it from there. which allows me to do the other things that I'd like to do and want to do in the businesses.
Gotcha. And now, what's your limitations as far as Omnia, geographically speaking?
Geographically, so we primarily focus on Lake Norman. However, one of our project managers has been with us for 5 years. He lives in Waxhaw, and he is developing projects in Waxhaw so he can stay closer
Now
to
you're
home.
getting spread out.
Yeah.
28173, and that's getting to be like Brawley School Road.
Yes.
A lot of work down there.
Yes.
There's a lot of work, but the traffic is absolutely off the chain horrible. I drove to Waxhaw a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Golly, I won't make a habit of that. And to that note, Charlotte is out of control.
Oh, it's nuts.
The traffic now in Charlotte, North Carolina, with 150 people moving here every day, is out of control.
It's maddening.
And if you're not traveling Charlotte, beware. You better figure out the time it's going to take you to get somewhere, because it's probably in the past 18 months, I would say it's doubled.
Learn those back roads.
Yep.
And they don't always work
They don't.
with construction on the roads. And you think you're making good time, and all of a sudden they flag them in ahead, and then you say, oh no. Well, but that's Charlotte. That's just the way things are. And that's the cost of doing business in Charlotte too.
That's right. But that's the reason for the Omnia business, why we stay in Lake Norman, is because we can get there. And we, most of our projects are within a few miles of each other, and that allows us to be efficient.
Exactly.
So when I mentioned the Waxhaw opportunities, he'll just stay in Waxhaw and Weddington. He won't travel to Cornelius and back to Waxhaw. He'll stay down
He's
there.
going to stay down
we
in
need
one.
to be efficient.
He's
Too much
going to stay
windshield
at
time.
28173.
Right.
Yeah, I lived down there for around 20 years back in the 90s area.
A little different back then.
A little different.
It was a lot different back then. A lot different. I lived on 126 acres farm back then that I rented a little old farmhouse.
Yeah.
And now it's on that 126 acres.
126 houses?
You bet. Probably more. It's all houses now.
Yeah.
No, those were the days. You know where Arrow Plantation is?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. It was at the end of the runway of an Arrow.
Yeah.
Wow. But that was some time ago. That's all exploded out there. Welcome to Charlotte.
Yeah.
And it's happening everywhere. And it's going east, it's going west, it goes north, and it goes south.
Yep.
So there's no getting out of it, unfortunately.
They're coming to you, Tony. They're coming your way, too.
Yeah. They are. The traffic in Troutman is ridiculous right now. So it's
you do a lot of traveling.
Oh, I do. I'm not
Where
only
you drive, if I
not
might ask?
only for work, but out of work too.
What are you driving nowadays?
What am I driving? Little Kia
the business.
Sportage.
Is that what you drive to work?
That's what I drive to work. I've had this car for 14 years, and I've never had it in the shop for a major problem.
A Kia Sportage, how many miles on it?
263.
You really never have any?
I've never had a major problem with it.
Wow,
I was
that's
in the
incredible.
shop a few weeks ago for one issue, but since then I've never had an issue with it. And I've had cars since then that I've had major issues with. So
I got you. That's cool.
I love traveling.
Apparently.
Traveling.
But you got a nice little car to travel in.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I asked.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if he was in a pickup truck or what.
Now, normally during work hours, if I can, I'll be in the garage leaving pickup truck. So you'll see me pulling it up in your house in that. Normally.
I got
Sometimes I'm in my car.
Is it wrapped?
It is.
How would I have guessed?
Yeah, it is.
I could have not have imagined. GarageLiving.com.
Yes, sir.
//
Charlotte.
Well, I call it / Charlotte.
Yep.
So that's how you get. And folks, I would highly recommend visiting the website. First class website, I have to say that.
Thank you.
And you have the opportunity on the website to request a free consultation, design consultation, and then we'll follow up with y'all and come out and take a look.
And we'd love to have people in the showroom as well.
The showroom's huge for us, so we would love to have people come into the showroom.
Now, where is the showroom?
It is off Rama Church Road at Rama Church and 115 in the Siegel Business Park
in Huntersville.
And soon to have lift?
Maybe one day.
One day in the warehouse, we'll have a lift.
The warehouse area?
Well, we do have all 3 lines of our cabinetry on display. We have 4 floors on display and some slat wall organization as well.
And that is very universal too, isn't it? The flat wall.
Slat wall is
Slat wall.
is
You
very
call it
popular.
slat wall?
Yes, sir.
Very popular. It's a great way to store things off of the floor and have the ability down the road to move things around and change it up if you need to.
Gotcha. I will say this about remodeling too. And I've been here, and I don't know where you're at on this. A lot of remodelers have showrooms. I never believed in a showroom. Why? Because you've got to keep it up. You've got to keep it current. And to do that, you have to change it out every year and a half, 2 years. Why would you go to that expense? The best showrooms you can ever have are happy customers.
Yes,
Hands
sir.
down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I was just talking about no lift. You got lifts everywhere.
Yeah, that's right.
You've got lifts that you could probably call a customer right here and say, could I send somebody your way?
We've done that.
And I'm sure you have, because those are your best showrooms.
That's right.
Am I right or wrong?
You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Man, that's one thing I loved about remodeling in Charlotte. You had all these clientele throughout the city that you could pick up the phone during a day. I had a potential customer with me in a car saying, can we come over and take a look at your kitchen? Well, what a better showroom to go in and talk to a prior customer in their new kitchen. Wow, pretty powerful stuff.
Yes, the best.
And it works better than any showroom ever worked. So I had a showroom or two, but then I said, what for? So to that point, you got lifts everywhere.
That's right.
We do, but at the showroom also, with the cabinetry, because of the 18 gauge steel and how it's built.
No doubt.
We want people to come in and touch and feel it, just because they're thinking cabinetry from maybe a home improvement store or something. And it's, once you come in and see what we offer,
they're all metal cabinets.
It's night and day.
All steel.
Yep. All steel.
Yep. And that is a big, big difference.
It is.
But you're going to pay for it too. I'm sorry. I just had to throw that out there.
You are.
But that's quality. That's when you
pay
go
for the quality.
It's like when you go buy a mechanic's tool chest.
That's true.
You're going to get an all metal, all steel cabinet with all steel hardware, and that works. All right. Any closing statements you want to do? Have fun today.
Oh,
It
it
was
was a
great.
blast. I loved it.
Thank you, Ray.
Well, thank you both for
Thank you
coming
for
in. I
having us.
appreciate you coming in and talking to us and sharing your passion. And you do have passion in it, don't you, Scott?
I do. I love it. I wouldn't
And
do it
now
if I didn't.
Yes, absolutely.
See, and that's what we need to focus on with our kids. What excites them?
Right.
What gives them jazzed up and excited to go do something? Not do a job, just live, just share an experience that they really enjoy. We're not doing that. I don't know if you tuned in lately, but we're not doing that. We're focusing on what you want. And I'm sorry to say that, but it's a fact, because the kids will tell you, well, my mom wants me to do this. Well, what do you want to do? They can't answer you because they don't know. They're thinking about what mom wants or dad wants. Give that some thought about your children. Because these kids are not totally happy and we're not fulfilling their expectations. Sad but true. All right, go make it a great week. Thank you both. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Ray.
We love you both. Take care. Keep on doing what you're doing.
Have a great weekend.
Go spread it. Oh, I'm gonna have a great 2 weeks. I'm out of
That's
here.
right.
Saturday
Safe
night.
travels.
Safe travels.
I'm out of here. I'm gonna ride the big silver bird. All right, go make it a great week. Spread some love. Make it a great one. Todd Compton and crew next weekend on About Your House, filling in as host. Also, the B-Man's in here talking about honey. You need to pay attention. You learn a lot. Next Saturday, right here on About Your House. We'll talk to you in 2 weeks. I'll be back. Talk to you then.